Hello everybody. Please subscribe, join the channel, follow Rebecca on Instagram and Twitter. Hit the thumbs up. It helps to feed the algorithm and recommends the channel to more people. Thank you, Shana. You're amazing as always. I love, like, today I'm making this topic. I'm having this topic. By the way, let me know that you can hear me and everything's good. The sound is good. Waiting for your confirmation, people. I don't know why. I was like, Bibi is about to go and actually, let's see, did he start his speech yet? When is it starting? It's starting pretty soon. So we have that going on. We have the Paris delegation going to Paris. The terrorists already made a declaration that they're gonna try to attack something, someone, everybody. I'm not sure what exactly the wording was. And while Jews are being an Israeli citizen got attacked in Greece and almost beaten to death. And when he called the ambulance, by the way, the initial report said that his mother reported that because he was a Christian, he was an Arab Christian, and when he showed the cross, then they let go of him. He later said that it's not true. It's not what happened. They didn't care he was wearing a cross. Actually, they cared that he was an Israeli, so they kept attacking him. Eventually, he said there were passerbys. Somebody even called an ambulance. The ambulance was like, "Oh, you're an Israeli," and left. And he got back to somehow managed to escape. Got back to the hotel, and then booked a flight. And he's now in the hospital in Israel. He flew to Israel to get to the hospital because he was not treated in Greece, which is insane. And even in France, with the everything that's happening. By the way, can you guys hear me? I don't know. I ignored it. And even with the Olympics in Paris, there are some ministers that I don't know who said that they'd rather not have the Israeli delegation in the Paris Olympics. Yeah, somebody in the government of France said it, which I really don't remember who it is. It could be the president or the prime minister. It could be all of them together had said that. I don't know. Just I don't remember. So hello. Okay, so the sound is good. And then in the middle of all of that, I'm having a video about, hey, come join us. How can you? So what inspired me to make this video about converting to Judaism is because I saw this family in the house of Lev. Here, this is I might see what's, oh, is it starting? Oh my God, exciting. So, okay, so what made me do this is actually I saw the house of Lev, which is a really, really sweet family that the whole family converted to Judaism. And I was like, oh, let's talk about it. Sorry, unrelated, like related but unrelated. So I thought maybe we should watch a little bit of Netanyahu's speech, even though the title says something completely different. So, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? To support ex-Muslims in Japan. I don't get who that, like, where did Japan go wrong? They had such a good understanding of how things function. They didn't let any Muslims in their country, and at some point they just forgot it. Like, why did they forget? Why? Shouldn't have forgotten. Hello. Hi, Jax. I can see you in the comments. Hello, everyone. Our Copin is here. Copin, 15 minutes. We're waiting for you. Okay, let's see the entrance at least, you know. Let's put the volume on. Kind of nice entrance there. Maybe I want to scooch back a bit to see how it looked like him coming in.
The prime.
Oh, I like this dude so much. What's his name? Sound professor, right? The prime. Where's the announcement?
Prime Minister of the State of Israel.
Kind of like a boxing match, the way he's entering. Like, yeah. I want to see like is that just me? Is it like, doesn't it look like WWE or something? Yeah, I used to watch these things when I was younger. I liked it a lot. Let's lower the volume a little bit. Guys.
Members of Congress, I now have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. Thank you.
Let me just shut you for a second, sorry, Netanyahu. Actually, I kind of thought there would be nobody would be here, like considering the topic and the fact that Netanyahu is stealing my spotlight. Come on, my timing was so amazingly bad to have the completely wrong title in my video.
Thank you. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Senator Ben Cardin, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader
Chuck Schumer, we
Mitch
don't like
McConnell,
him, right? If I remember correctly.
Senators, members of Congress, distinguished guests. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy
I know,
for the
right?
fourth time.
What? This is just...
We meet today at a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval. In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization. It's a clash between those who glorify death and those who sanctify life. For the forces of civilization to triumph,
Dr. Wafa Sultan
America and Israel must stand together.
I love Dr. Wafa Sultan, which is like, the war is not
Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose. And my friends, I came to assure you today of one thing: we will win. Ladies and gentlemen, like December 7th, 1941, and September 11th, 2001, October 7th is a day that will forever live in infamy. It was the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah, It began as a perfect day, not a cloud in the sky. Thousands of young Israelis were celebrating at an outdoor music festival. And suddenly, at 6:29 a.m., as children were still sleeping soundly in their beds in the towns and kibbutzim next to Gaza, suddenly heaven turned into hell. 3,000 Hamas terrorists stormed into Israel. They butchered 1,200 people from 41 countries, including 39 Americans. Proportionately, compared to our population size, that's like 20 9/11s in one day. And these monsters, they raped women, they beheaded men, they burnt babies alive, they killed parents in front of their children, and children in front of their parents. They dragged 255 people, both living and dead, into the dark dungeons of Gaza. Israel has already brought home 135 of these hostages, including 7 who were freed in daring rescue operations.
By the way, you guys, like right now, spoiler, let me spoil. No, this is a different, I'm editing, like yesterday, somebody, the first account, like a first person account of rape in Nova Festival was published. Somebody who was raped shared his story, and I made some commentary about it. So I'm actually editing that, and I actually wanted to publish it today, but I ended up not finishing the edits. But yeah. Oh wow, noise here. Wait, let me go back.
Is here in the gallery, sitting near my wife Sarah. On the morning Minister, I have one final wish. I wish to hug my daughter Noah one last time before I die. 2 months ago, I authorized a breathtaking commando rescue operation. Our special forces, including a heroic officer named Arnon Zmora, who fell in this battle, rescued Noah and 3 other hostages. Noah, I think it's one of the most moving things. When Noah was reunited with her mother Leora, and her mother's last wish came true. Noah, we're so thrilled to have you with us today. Thank you.
You guys behind the scenes, like leftists, they are godless people. They were attacking her for joining Netanyahu in this trip. Like, they were attacking her for it. And she's a super, like, listen, she went through it. There is nothing more in the world she wants than getting hostages released, even if it's against the Israeli policy. She experienced it. And it's known that, like, she's voicing her opinions and criticizing the Netanyahu's methods, like she had in meetings, but she's still there, like, because it's the right thing to do for her country. And the leftists are so insane, like they.
2 beautiful red-haired children taken hostage. What monsters! And with us also is Iris Chaim, whose son Yotam bravely
like they're
escaped
still at, like,
Hamas captivity with 2 other Israelis, and tragically they were killed making their way back to our lines. We have with us also the families of American hostages.
Oh, Iris Chaim, she's amazing.
They're here.
She really gave like a lot of strength to the Israeli people. But her son was shot by the IDF by mistake. I mean, it was chaos. And she really fought hard for
The
the
pain
soldiers
these families have
to
endured
not carry that guilt with
is
them
beyond
for
words.
the rest of their lives. She was like, I
met with them
understand.
again yesterday.
I understand. Please
And I
don't feel
promised them
guilty.
this.
Your life is important.
I will not rest until all their loved ones are home. All of them. As
One
we
even
speak,
said yeah.
we're actively engaged
It's so
in
clear. They don't
intensive
really care
efforts
about the
to
hostages.
secure
Like,
their
they're just
release. And I'm confident
mentally ill.
that these efforts can succeed. Some of them are taking place right now. I want to thank President Biden for his tireless efforts on behalf of the hostages and for his efforts to the hostage families as well. I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten.
lasted 5 minutes, his support, but whatever.
President Biden and I have known each other for over 40 years. I
They've
want
been
to thank
fighting
him for
with
half
each
a
other
century
there
of
with him
friendship
over
to
the
Israel
40 years.
and for being,
They
as he
had bad
says,
blood for over than
proud
40 years.
Zionist. Actually, he says a proud Irish-American Zionist.
Yes, he does claim to be a Zionist, but it's true.
My friends, for more than 9 months, Israel's soldiers have shown boundless courage. With us today,
Yep. And then Biden, Flippy Joe,
with us today is Lieutenant Avichai Reuven.
fighting for the.
Avichai is an officer in the Israeli paratroopers.
Was that
His family
Netanyahu
immigrated to Israel
sitting
from
there?
Ethiopia.
Is it? Did I imagine?
In the early hours of
I mean, it
October
makes
7th,
sense.
Avichai heard the news of Hamas's bloody rampage. He put on his uniform, grabbed his rifle, but he didn't have a car. So he ran 8 miles to the front lines of Gaza to defend his people.
I mean, he's Ethiopian, right? They're really, really good with running, to be honest. I mean, that's heroism for sure. That's amazing. But it's like I feel like
You heard that, right?
only an Ethiopian
He
can
ran
do
8
that. I
miles,
don't know. Maybe is it racist
the
to
front
say that?
lines,
Like, it's amazing, yeah.
killed
Like,
many
it's an
terrorists,
amazing thing to
and
do. But
saved many, many
I almost
lives.
feel like
Avichai, we
Yeah,
all
he ran
honor
8
your
miles.
remarkable heroism. Another Israeli is with us here today, and he's stand up right next to Avichai. This is Master Sergeant Ashraf al-Bakhiri. Ashraf is a Bedouin soldier from the Israeli Muslim community of Raat. On October 7th, Ashraf, too,
it's important
killed
to
many
attack,
terrorists. First, he defended his comrades in the military base, and he then rushed to defend the neighboring communities, including the devastated community of Kibbutz Be'eri. Like Ashraf, the Muslim soldiers of the IDF fought alongside their Jewish, Druze, Christian, and other comrades in arms with tremendous bravery.
Speaking of which, I think a lot of Muslims in Israel realized that they are gonna get screwed if Israel is not there to protect them. But the Bedouins knew it from the get-go because they were always second
hero,
class.
Lieutenant Asa Sofer, is also here with us.
Who is that?
Asa fought as an officer in the Tank Corps, and he was wounded in battle. He was wounded in battle while protecting his fellow soldiers from a grenade. He lost his right arm and the vision in his left eye.
That's insane.
He's recovering, and incredibly, within a short time, Asa will soon return to active duty as a commander of a tank company.
It's funny to me. Look how he's standing. He's clearly shy and he doesn't feel comfortable, which is and then he fought like crazy, and then he's going back to the army. It reminds me a story that my mom told me once. It's people have different phobias. She said she had an army general coming in, and he showed her
there's a fourth hero here.
So many bullet holes and scars and everything like that that he got hit
in Gaza
with.
And continued to fight.
And yeah, see, he's a bit less shy. Anyway, he got so many bullets, and he said he was not afraid in any battle, but he is mortified from the dentist. So he just wanted my mom to know that he's really scared of her because she's a dentist, even though he went through all those battles. I mean, yeah, I guess the other guy.
These are the soldiers of Israel, unbowed, undaunted, unafraid. As the Bible says, Am kelavi yakum. They shall rise like lions. They have risen like lions. The lions of Judah, the lions of Israel. Ladies and gentlemen,
I mean, they are heroes. They're real heroes.
The men and women of the IDF come from every corner of Israeli society, every ethnicity, every color, every creed, left and right, religious and secular. All are imbued with the indomitable spirit of the Maccabees, the legendary Jewish warriors of antiquity. With us today is Yechiel Leiter, the father of one of those Maccabees. Yechiel's father escaped the Holocaust and found refuge in America. As a young man, Yechiel moved to Israel and raised a family of 8 children. He named his eldest son, Moshe, after his late father. Moshe became an exemplary officer in one of our elite commando units. He served with distinction for 2 decades while raising 6 beautiful children of his own. On October 7th, Moshe volunteered to return to combat. 4 weeks later, he was killed when a booby-trapped mine exploded in a tunnel shaft right next to a mosque. At his son's funeral, Yechiel said this: "If the state of Israel had not been established after the Holocaust, the image engraved in our collective memory would have been the photograph of that helpless Jewish boy in the Warsaw Ghetto holding his hands up in the air with Nazi rifles pointed at him. But because of the birth of Israel," Yechiel continued, because of the courage of soldiers like my son Moshe, the Jewish people are no longer helpless in the face of our enemies. Yechiel, please rise so we can honor your son's sacrifice. And I pledge to you and to all the bereaved families of Israel, some of whom are in this hall today, the sacrifice of your loved ones will not be in vain. It will not be in vain because for Israel, never again must never be an empty promise. It must always remain a sacred vow. And after October 7th, never again is now.
By the way, there are two philosophies of never again. Those who believe that never again means that never again is the responsibility of Earth in general, never again ever happen. And those who believe that never again, when it comes to the Jews, that means never again will the Jews be in a situation where they cannot defend themselves.
Clarity begins by knowing the difference between good and evil. Yet incredibly, many anti-Israel protesters, many choose to stand with evil. They stand with Hamas. They stand with rapists and murderers. They stand with people who came into the kibbutzim, into a home. The parents hid the children, the two babies, in the attic, in a secret attic. They murdered the families, the parents. They find the secret latch to the hidden attic, and then they murder the babies. These protesters stand with them. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh, there are interesting sounds in the crowd. I think everybody that booed right now needs to be lined up, to be honest. It's nice to see America like that, like the unconfused America. That's the one that knows that there is something worth fighting for. Those who know the story of the forefathers and know how America was created and the principles that stand behind America.
They refuse to make the simple distinction between those who target terrorists and those who target civilians, between the democratic state of Israel and the terrorist thugs of Hamas. We recently learned from the National Security Director, U.S. Director of National Intelligence, that Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America. So these protesters burn American flags even on the 4th of July. And I wish to salute the fraternity brothers at the University of North Carolina who protected the American flag against these anti-Israel protesters.
Is it just me? Even here there was some mixed reactions. Like, you guys, this is your country. And people are like, is it me? Did I imagine that? Were there both like a little bit of like reactions that sounded like they were negative to the mentioning of the students that had protected the American flag?
Iran is funding the anti-Israel protests that are going on right now outside this building. Not that many, but they're there, and throughout the city. Well, I have a message for these protesters. When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, and funding you, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots.
See, yeah, there are boos.
Some of these protesters, it's amazing,
There are boos
absolutely
too.
amazing. Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC.
Oh my God, Bibi, update your jokes. Come on, that's been running for a year
These
now.
protesters chant from the river to the sea, but many don't have a clue what river and what sea they're talking about.
Okay,
They
something
not only get
original,
an F
Bibi.
in
Come on.
geography, they get an F in history.
They get an F on
They
humanity.
call Israel a colonialist state. Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed, where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled?
Yes, I've met almost every
For nearly
big
4,000
leader,
years,
to be honest.
the land of Israel
Not all
has
of them,
been the
but a lot of them.
homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our
Including
home.
Peres,
It will
which is
always
dead.
be our home.
Wait, I missed something.
It's not only the campus protesters who get it wrong. It's also the people who run those campuses. 80 years after the Holocaust, 80 years after the Holocaust, the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and I'm ashamed to say my alma mater, MIT, couldn't bring themselves to condemn the calls for the genocide of Jews. You remember what they said? They said, it depends on the context. Well, let me give these befuddled academics a little context. Anti-Semitism is the world's oldest hatred. For centuries, the massacre of Jews was always preceded by wild accusations. We were accused of everything from poisoning wells to spreading plagues, to using the blood of slaughtered children to bake Passover matzahs. These preposterous anti-Semitic lies led to persecution, mass murder, and ultimately to history's worst genocide, the Holocaust. Now, just as malicious lies were leveled for centuries at the Jewish people, malicious lies are now being leveled at the Jewish state. No, don't applaud. Listen.
That's bad.
The outrageous slanders that paint Israel as racist and genocidal are meant to delegitimize Israel, to demonize the Jewish state, and to demonize Jews everywhere. And no wonder we've witnessed an appalling rise of anti-Semitism in America and around the world. My friends, whenever and wherever we see the scourge of anti-Semitism, we must unequivocally condemn it and resolutely fight it, without exception.
Right, and so I like that there are a lot of pauses for claps, so I can make some comments.
And don't be fooled
Is it
when the
just-
blood libels against the Jewish state come from people who wear fancy silk robes and speak in lofty tones about law and justice. Here's a case in point.
I love you, Mr.
The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has
Mrs.
shamefully accused Israel of deliberately starving the people of Gaza. This is utter, complete nonsense. It's a complete fabrication.
Yeah, they're fat. They need it out.
Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's 500,000
good.
tons of food. And that's more than 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. If there are Palestinians in Gaza who aren't getting enough food, it's not because Israel is blocking it, it's because Hamas is stealing it.
Yeah, I just made a video about it. I just posted it yesterday, but it didn't get that much views. I think maybe my thumbnail sucked or something, or my title sucked. I don't know. But like I made a video like
So
showing
much for that lie. But
talking
here's
about
another.
how Hamas steals
The
the
ICC
aid.
prosecutor accuses Israel of deliberately targeting civilians. What in God's green earth is he talking about? The IDF has dropped millions of flyers, sent millions of text messages, made hundreds of thousands of phone calls to get Palestinian civilians out of harm's way. But at the same time, Hamas does everything in its power to put Palestinian civilians in harm's way. They fire rockets from schools, from hospitals, from mosques. They even shoot their own people when they try to leave the war zone. A senior Hamas official, Fatri Hamad, boasted, listen to this, he boasted that Palestinian women and children excel at being human shields. His words, excel at being human shields. What monstrous evil. For Israel, every civilian death is a tragedy. For Hamas, it's a strategy. They actually want Palestinian civilians to die, so that Israel will be smeared in the international media and be pressured to end the war before it's won. This would enable Hamas to survive another day, and as they vowed, to carry out October 7th again and again and again. Well, I want to assure you, no matter what pressure is brought to bear, I will never allow that to happen.
Okay, let me see. Hola Rebecca, saludos de un argentino alemán. Hi Sebastian.
The vast majority of Americans have not fallen for this Hamas propaganda. They continue to support Israel. And I want to say thank you, America, and thank you, senators and House members who continue to support us, continue to support Israel, continue to support the truth and see through the lies. But as for the minority that may have fallen for Hamas's cons job, I suggest you listen to Colonel John Spencer. John Spencer is head of urban warfare studies at West Point. He studied every major urban conflict. I was going to say in modern history.
Like to me, doesn't like address the large, like the real
Israel,
problem.
he said,
I'm okay.
has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history and beyond what international law requires.
Oh, there are applause and I forgot to make the point. Anyway, I don't like Bibi. He's a safe person. Like he goes on the
That's
safe.
why,
He's
despite all the lies
talking about the protesters, but the problem is that the media is lying.
has
CNN
one of the lowest
lying.
ratios of combatants to non-combatants.
Fox are like halfway. Even they don't say the whole truth.
And you want to know where it's lowest in Gaza? It's lowest in Rafah. In Rafah. Remember what so many people said? If Israel goes into Rafah, there'll be thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of civilians killed. Well, last week, I went into Rafah. I visited our troops as they finished fighting Hamas's remaining terrorist battalions. I asked the commander there, how many terrorists did you take out in Rafah? He gave me an exact number, 1,203. I asked him, how many civilians were killed? He said, Prime Minister, practically none, with the exception of a single incident where shrapnel from a bomb hit a Hamas weapons depot and unintentionally killed 24 people. The answer is practically none. You want to know why? Because Israel got the civilians out of harm's way, something people said we could never do, but we did it.
Yeah, Israel like broke records with this fighting, by the way. Jax, thank you so much for your support. Either we stand against evil or we can become part of it. Really simple choice, in my opinion, choose life always. Which reminds me, did you guys like my
These
choose
heroes
life?
here today, the heroic soldiers of Israel, should not be
in the banner, or do you like what I have now, which is also a quote from the Bible, by the way, but which is time to be quiet and time to speak. That's what I have now. But before that, I choose life. So let me know what you prefer. Thank you, Jax, again. Sorry for anything.
I want to thank all of you here today who forcefully opposed the false accusations of the ICC and stood up for the truth. These lies are not only libelous, they're downright dangerous. The ICC is trying to shackle Israel's hands and prevent us from defending ourselves. And if Israel's hands are tied, America is next. And I'll tell you what else is next. The ability of all democracies to fight terrorism will be imperiled. That's what's on the line. So let me assure you, the hands of the Jewish state will never be shackled. Israel will always defend itself.
Amen. But still, I think it's going on the safe. Like, he doesn't... There is so much to say here, like the American government, the representatives. Have you guys seen, like, the questioning that the head of the FBI had? Like,
Iran is virtually
awful.
beyond...
Like, America is infiltrated.
All the terrorism, all the turmoil, all the chaos, all the killing. And that should come as no surprise. When he founded the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Khomeini pledged, "We will export our revolution to the entire world." We will export the Islamic revolution to the entire world. Now ask yourself, which country ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world? And the answer is clear. It's America, the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Come on. I mean, America does have its honor.
That's why Iran sees America as its greatest enemy. Last month, we heard a revealing comment, ostensibly about the war in Gaza, but about something else. It came from the foreign minister of Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, and he said this: "This is not a war with Israel. Israel," he said, "is merely a tool. The main war, the real war, is with America." Iran's regime has been fighting America from the moment it came to power. In 1979, it stormed the American embassy. It held scores of Americans hostage for 444 days. Since then, Iran's terrorist proxies have targeted America in the Middle East and beyond. In Beirut, they killed 241 U.S. servicemen. In Africa, they bombed American embassies. In Iraq, they supplied explosives to maim and kill thousands of American soldiers. In America, they actually sent death squads. They sent death squads here to murder a former Secretary of State and a former National Security Advisor. And as we recently learned, they even brazenly threatened to assassinate President Trump. But Iran understands that to truly challenge America, it must first conquer the Middle East. And for this, it uses its many proxies, including the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Yet in the heart of the Middle East, standing in Iran's way, is one proud pro-American democracy, my country, the State of Israel. That's why the mobs in Tehran chant death to Israel before they chant death to America. For Iran, Israel is first, America is next.
Okay, so to me...
So when Israel fights Hamas, we're fighting Iran. When we fight Hezbollah, we're fighting Iran. When we fight the Houthis, we're fighting Iran. And when we fight Iran, we're fighting the most radical and murderous enemy of the United States of America. And one more thing.
I don't know,
When
just
Israel
something that
acts
is not,
to prevent Iran
that
from
is
developing
harsher, I
nuclear
think,
weapons,
would have been a problem.
nuclear weapons that could destroy Israel and threaten every American city, every city that you come from. We're not only protecting ourselves, we're protecting you.
It's like everything he says is true. I just wish maybe if he talked more
My friends,
about
if you
like
remember
why
one
they
thing,
do what they do,
one thing from the
that would
speech,
have been nice.
remember this. Our enemies are your enemies. Our fight is your fight. And our victory will be your victory.
Okay, so I want to see in the comments, what do you think? Like, what is the goal of the speech, do you think? And what does it help do with that speech that he's having? Is it just raising awareness of the simple facts that we guys know about, but maybe the average American doesn't?
Ladies and gentlemen,
do you think that's the goal?
that victory is in sight. Israel's defeat of Hamas will be a powerful blow to Iran's axis of terror. Another part of that axis, Hezbollah, attacked Israel on October 8th, a day after the Hamas attack. It has launched thousands of missiles and drones against us. 80,000 of our citizens in northern Israel evacuated their homes, becoming effectively refugees in their own land. We are committed to returning them home. We prefer to achieve this diplomatically. But let me be clear. Israel will do whatever it must do to restore security to our northern border and return our people safely to their homes.
Yeah.
Last
I also
Friday,
think that's
a
true. I
third
think
Iranian
it's generally
proxy,
built on
the Houthis,
nationalism.
attacked Tel Aviv with a deadly drone. It exploded a few hundred feet from the American consulate, killing one person and injuring 9. On Saturday, I authorized a swift response to that attack. All our enemies should know this. Those who attack Israel will pay a very heavy price. And as we defend ourselves, on all fronts, I know that America has our back. And I thank you for it. All sides of the aisle. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like, I feel like there needs to be something new, something like a new
My friends, for decades,
approach.
America has provided
Because
Israel
that
with generous
approach
military
doesn't work
assistance.
anymore.
And a grateful Israel
It
has
just
provided America
proves that we
with
are
critical intelligence that saved many
colonially
lives.
intertwined. I don't know.
We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth. I choose my words carefully. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth that help protect both our countries. And we also help keep American boots, we help keep Americans' boots off the ground while protecting our shared interests in the Middle East.
Oh, Robin did not. It's so we can take the names of who's not staying. That's a real good one.
I
That's a
deeply
real good
appreciate
one. A good reason to have
America's
this
support, including in this current war. But this is an exceptional moment. Fast-tracking U.S. military aid can dramatically expedite an end to the war in Gaza and help prevent a broader war in the Middle East. In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster.
Every Israeli that fights right now, if Israel didn't exist, an American soldier would have had to fight that fight. and die instead of Israelis. So every Israeli that is dying in the Middle East, the way the United States is structured is that they would have
My dear
had
friends,
to send their own
the
troops
war
to
in
die
Gaza
there
could end
to
tomorrow
keep the
if
American
Hamas surrenders,
economy living. And there is
disarms,
nothing
and
more
returns all the
important
hostages.
than money for American people. And the American people are even not aware about how much of what they live like and how much of their lifestyle is in fact is what happens
But if they
because
don't,
it happens because America is
Israel
everywhere.
will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home.
So
That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. The day after we defeat Hamas, a new Gaza can emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, we must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
I don't know about now, but Americans, at least 20 years ago, they would choose a government based on oil prices. What do you think that means
Gaza
about
should have a
America and the
civilian
Middle East?
administration run by Palestinians who do not seek to destroy Israel. That's not too much to ask. It's a fundamental thing that we have a right to demand and to receive.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He wants weapons. Which, by the way, America is obligated to give Israel. It goes
A
against...
new generation of Palestinians must no longer be taught to hate Jews, but rather to live in peace with us.
And another thing is that there were a lot of agreements made with Israel that had been broken, but since Israel is literally being bullied,
Those twin words,
like who can
demilitarization
Israel complain to? That the United
de-radicalization.
States and Egypt and Jordan and the
Those two
Palestinians
concepts
and
were applied
Lebanon
to
and the
Germany and
UN,
Japan after World War II.
nobody
And that
respected
led
the
to
agreements that
decades
they
of
made
peace,
with Israel.
prosperity, and security.
Like they've
Following our victory,
for Israel to not attack the Egyptian weapons that weapons that America supplies to Egypt, then Israel and the United States have agreements. And then if the Americans do not supply weapons when Israel needs them, then they are breaking a contract. They are breaking a contract. This is why it's illegal what they're doing. And Israel is so
now
bullied
here's my vision
that they have nowhere to
broader
go
Middle
to
East.
when
It's also
when other nations
shaped
are
in part
breaking contracts with it.
by what we saw in the aftermath of World War II. After that war, America forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat. Likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat.
We are not obligated to
All
give
countries that
anyone
are at
anything.
peace
It's
with
our
Israel,
money, not the governments. You are
and
an
all those
idiot,
countries
man.
who will
You are
make
an
peace
idiot
with
because
Israel
the world doesn't
should
owe
be
you
invited
anything.
to join
And the
this
way you are
alliance.
living right now is only
We saw a
because
glimpse.
your government
We
is
saw a glimpse of that potential
working
alliance on
with
April 14th.
contracts with different nations.
Led by the United States,
It's
more
like
than
you
half
think
a dozen
everything in the
nations
United States
worked
was made in the
alongside
United
Israel
States. It's not.
to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us. Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together.
Yes, there is a reason even that no matter what, once that people get to the Congress and understand how economics work and understand
new alliance
contracts,
I envision
why they cannot go
would be a
against Israel
natural
even if they
extension
hate it.
of the groundbreaking Abraham Accords. Those accords saw peace forged between Israel and 4 Arab countries, and they were supported by Republicans and Democrats alike. We could call... I have a name for this new alliance. I think we should call it the Abraham Alliance. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham Accords.
That's nice. I think this time more people stood up. about, like, I think the Abraham Accords are more recognized as
Like
something that's
Americans,
supposed to be
Israelis
positive.
were relieved that President Trump emerged safe and sound from that dastardly attack on him, dastardly attack on American democracy. There is no room for political violence in democracies.
Why do American people love Israel? Not all. The American nation was based, like when the forefathers have created Israel,
I also want
America.
to thank President Trump
They even wanted to use. They wanted Hebrew to be the official language. This is how
over
much.
the Golan
By the way,
Heights,
the same with
to
the
confronting
UK.
Iran's aggression,
England,
to
the England
recognizing Jerusalem
nationality.
as our capital and moving the American embassy there.
Everything that is the American nationality and the British nationality were both based on the Jewish nationality. They just read the Bible and they did and structured their governments and their
That's
jurisdictional
Jerusalem,
system and the
our
value
eternal
system according
capital,
to the
never
Jewish,
to be divided
Jewish
again.
nationhood. That's why. So Americans that are conservative and know that how America was built and that it was almost a Hebrew-speaking nation, this is how much they're based on Jewish history. Like,
My dear
this is how
friends,
much America is
Democrats
based
and
on Jewish
Republicans,
history to be what
Despite
it
these
is.
times of upheaval,
So
I'm
this is
hopeful
why
about the future
it's not about being
I'm
Jews,
hopeful
it's about
about Israel
understanding the
because my people, the
moral
Jewish people,
contribution that
emerged from the
the
depths of
Jews
hell
had to the world.
from dispossession and genocide. And against all odds, we restored our sovereignty in our ancient homeland. We built a powerful and vibrant democracy, a democracy that pushes the boundaries of innovation for the betterment of all humanity. I'm hopeful about America because I'm hopeful about Americans. I know how much the people of this country have sacrificed to defend freedom. America will continue to be a force for light and good in a dark and dangerous world. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776.
Mighty, good morning, because Jesus was Jewish. Everything that is Christian was and is of value was actually created by Jews and written by
Working
Jews.
together,
Okay?
I'm
Christian
confident that our
values.
two
There
nations
is no such thing
will
as
vanquish
Christian
the
values.
tyrants
All
and
the values
terrorists
Christianity
who
has
threaten
are
us
based
both.
on Jewish values.
As Israel's Prime Minister, I promise you this. No matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the road ahead, Israel will not relent. Israel will not bend. We will defend our land. We will defend our people. We will fight until we achieve victory. Victory
Amen.
over liberty, rather victory of liberty over tyranny, victory of life over death, victory of good over evil. That's our solemn commitment.
Amen.
And we will continue to work with the United States and our Arab partners to transform a troubled region from a backwater of repression, poverty, and war into a thriving oasis of dignity, prosperity, and peace. In this noble mission, as in many others,
Yeah, good morning,
Israel
dear
will
Christians.
always remain
Everything that
America's
comes to
indispensable
morality in
ally.
Christianity is
Through
Jewish.
thick and thin,
Your Christmas trees, they're pagan. Christian values are not
Through thick
Roman
and thin,
values. They are not Roman,
in good
they are
times
Jewish
and in
values.
bad,
At the New
Israel
Testament,
will always be
Jewish.
your loyal friend
except
and
for
your
a
steadfast
sentence
partner.
here and there,
On
like
behalf of the
woman be
people of
silent,
Israel,
that's Roman.
I came here today
It's
to
mostly
say
100%,
thank you,
like
America.
99.9%
Thank you
Jewish.
for your support and solidarity. Thank you for standing in Israel, with Israel, in our hour of need. Together we shall defend our common civilization. Together we shall secure a brilliant future for both our nations.
That's the thing that people don't understand. Like, they are don't think one step
May
ahead. They
God
have no
bless
idea
Israel.
what
May
Judaism
God
had
bless
contributed to the
America.
world,
And may
what
God
Jews did
bless the
for the
great
world,
alliance
and what
between
Israel
Israel
does right
and
now for
America
the world.
forever.
The thing is that the contribution of the Jews is so incredibly not proportionate and so incredibly that it drives people insane. But most people are either in denial and they're like, oh, Jews are people like all people, or they recognize the extreme difference of the Jews, but they see that as a reason to try to eliminate us.
Thank you.
And it's religious war, spiritual. It's depends on your perspective and the way you look in the world. If you believe in God, then sure, it's a spiritual, religious. If you believe in psychology, it's a psychological war as well, because it's different psychological systems. The system that believes in merit is and the system that believes in power. Those are two different psychological wiring and condition of humanity. There are people who are wired a certain way, and there are people who are wired differently. And most babies are born relatively unwired, so you can wire with them either way. Anyway, that makes sense. You know what? This ending, that brings us incredibly towards the actual topic of today, which is conversion to Judaism. Why do people convert? Like, how does it happen? Because, I think that those stories that I wanted to bring, those are people that I've actually encountered, and I wanted to bring their stories of, like, here is the thing when it comes to Judaism, okay? For me, as a Jew, I don't believe in Judaism as religion. I believe in Judaism as nationality, which means I personally don't like meditating, and prayer is meditation. I understand there is value to it, but it's not my thing necessarily. Kosher laws and things like that, I understand them in context, and it makes sense. Of course, it's not something that should be eradicated or anything, but I also do not believe in following them to the T, right? I don't believe in that. I believe there is a moderation in everything, and I believe that belief should also be in moderation. But there is the Jewish nation and the Jewish people and the history that created something that doesn't exist in the world, and those places that have something similar to what Judaism offers and Jews offer, like, and the Jewish nationhood offers, are places like I said, the United Kingdom and the United States, that built themselves according to the Bible. So they read the history of the Jewish nation, and they just did as it did what it described. Like, they built their nationhood similarly, just following, the guidebook that is the Bible. So there are values there, like that humans were created in the image of God. Nobody else, there is no society that I've encountered that came up with a similar idea. There was always somebody that was more than. There was always a king. There was always somebody. There is someone like a leader. There is always someone that is closer to the gods than the nation. And don't get me wrong, it didn't start like that right away necessarily. Yes, the Jews didn't get it right away. They just made, they had observations and they made moral steps that other nations didn't. And they survived. And they did something that there is nothing else in the world. There is nothing else like the Bible in the world, and there is nothing like the Talmud in the world. Those collections, those and Mishnah and Yetzirah and Musar, there was nothing, and of course there is nothing, because once you have one, why would you have more? There was nothing like that in the world. So the Jews had, when it comes to the morality, when it comes to religion, when it comes to what religion, I don't like this word, but that is law. So Judaism is law. Is basically everything is around justice and law, and the systems like that. What the Jews did is that they incrementally came up with more and more inventions. And they had tried some moral systems that had failed and changed them and learned from it. And basically, there are several principles that had led the Jewish nation to be what it is. So the principles are: we were all created in the image of God. Life is value. Humans are valued for, like, the life of a person is, there is no reason. This is basically, it's valued no matter what. And there is a peoplehood, a nationhood. And we have clear borders, and there is a lot of, by the way, a lot of the laws on the Torah are only apply if you live in Israel, because a lot of the laws in the Torah are ecological. They're based on ecology, how to not dry out the land, how to not exhaust the land, how to do agriculture properly. Those are things that and every single leader in the Bible, every single figure was criticized. Everyone. David, son of a bitch. They're all criticized, okay? All of them. I mean, David is not a son of a bitch, but like his son, Shlomo, definitely. Solomon, son of a bitch, 100%. Come on. She like tempted, like she was like, do you think like, oh, let me bathe on the rooftop. And, oh, oops, I forgot I have a husband. Come on. And then not only that, he was mocked because like in his, like when his old age, he was sitting with the girls, like it's written in a super mocking way. Abraham was criticized. Sarah, everybody. There is no, Moses was really extreme, like really criticized. Wasn't even allowed to enter the country that he fought so hard for the Israelites to go to. Okay, so this is why I made this video. Like, those are basic principles: equality in front of the law, where our lives are, they have value in them. Just because, okay. And those, and then the criticism and this complete freedom of speech and the culture of debate. And it didn't happen in one day. All those things did not happen in the Bible. Covers up 1,000 years of history. 1,000 years. There is nothing like that. The Talmud covers debates with the Greeks. It covers everything they had known at the time. Like, there is nothing like that, and there was nothing like that. And the reason I say that, like, you have to, I say, like, one thing: morality is science. It is science. The Jews invented they made great progress in that science. And the chosenness, right, in the thing is that the Jews realized that every person, this is what is called a prophet, right? This is why I said, like, you can look at Albert Einstein as a sort of a prophet. Every person that has a vision, has this epiphany, has thought about something that nobody thought before, they have the obligation, the divine obligation, that not following it is like in Judaism, ideally it would have been punishable by death, but of course no Jew can go and check who has a great scientific idea in their mind and they're not sharing it, right? Like they cannot do that. So they're like, okay, for those who have those kind of like those observations, this thinking, and they don't share it and they don't say it. And they wrote stories like the story of Jonah, who didn't want to tell the city that they have to change their ways. He didn't want to criticize the leaders, and he tried to run away from it. But you cannot run away from it. And the Jews understood this one basic principle. We have figured out some things that other nations didn't, whether individuals or not. And every person on earth, when it comes to Judaism, if they have something that they have discovered that would benefit the world, they're obligated to share it with the world, because this is the number one moral. You have to speak up, you have to say something, you have to talk. And this is why we have such a crazy debate culture, because you're obligated to go against the whole world, like what Jonah said, like Jonah had happened. And not only that, right? You have to stick to life. So people don't understand, a lot of people, I think, the story of Job, like Job, like that like Satan came and tested him, and he kept believing in God. Well, if you go and you follows through Jewish thinking, let's put Christian thinking aside, it's not a satanic thing, right? And it's not that he kept believing in God. What happened is, like, no matter what happened to Job, he didn't deserve it. He didn't take on his own life. What his belief was, what his dedication was to life itself. The fact that he did not despair, the fact that he kept fighting, and the fact that he rebuilt his life, that's the story. The story of what happens if you don't deserve, but everything bad happens to you. The Jewish thing is, you have to value life. You have to fight for life. This strategy, like, and that story of Job, like, to think about it, the Holocaust was this story million times, right? Millions of Jews went like that, went through that, and they had to rebuild their lives after everything was their parents, their children, their siblings, their wife, their everything. And this is the story of Job. Like, understanding, like, how important, how highly valued the value of life is, that the righteous person fights for it even at the most desperate times. They don't give up. They don't give up. They don't end themselves up. So, and what else? You guys are chatting very fast, so I don't know if I can keep up with you all. Anyway, it's not that I wanted to preach. I wanted to bring some cool stories about people who converted and talk about their stories and why they chose to do that. But there is also a catch, right? Then it's like, okay, so everything is so great. So why can't everyone convert to Judaism, right? And why is it that Judaism is not like Christianity, where Christianity is like, they figured out that love is so amazing and they want to I don't know, to be like, okay, so this message is so good, like, once you live through love, and they want everybody to live through it, okay? Well, basically Christianity is like some sort of like globalist Judaism, and it doesn't take all the values of Judaism. The thing is that What? Just saw that Tutsi. Wait. No, guys. There is something important happening, I feel like. Just so, where is it? Where is it? But you'd, okay, wait, I'm gonna finish my thought train and then I'm gonna say there's something that happened about converting, right? So why is it not necessarily encouraged? Okay, so Jews are obligated in a sense to share that amazing thing that they had and their conclusions on how to build a nation and statehood and everything like that. Sure. But the thing is that there is no reason for other nations to follow our kosher laws. There is no reason for somebody who lives in the Amazonas to have to treat the land the same way that Jews that live in Israel do, right? We live in a arid semi-desert land. We have some ways like, and those are the laws that are written in the Torah, like how to treat the land. Those are also commandments and laws. Like, it's not relevant unless you live here. And there was a real big problem when most Jews were in exile. It was like that when it turned into religion that called Judaism. But in reality, it was always like half-baked. It could never been a real religion. It could have never been a real religion because it's so connected to the land of Israel. It's so connected to this nationhood that is specific to an area that has borders. So here's the thing, is like there is no reason for other nations to not continue their own holidays. The only thing that Judaism thinks, like, yes, please adopt our value system. Please do that. Please take away the nationhood, right? Please accept the things like that. Yes, Jews, this is the reason that Jews fight idolatry, is because idolatry means that there are different value systems. Depends is the word. Like Judaism believes there is one value system, but there are different traditions. There are different traditions, depends on like where you are, where you do, and like your own. And there is no reason to let go of that. There is no reason to let go of your own traditions and your own nation. And I'll be honest, like, I don't think there is even a real reason to convert to Judaism. And by the way, converted to Judaism, like the Israel doesn't recognize it unless you've been living within a Jewish community. There is no real reason to do that as an individual because it's a nation. It's like, it's a peoplehood. And then, so you have to join that community at least. And right now, to be honest, I don't even see a reason to convert to Judaism unless you want to live in Israel, because this is what you do when you move to, this is the process, right? The accepting foreigners that Judaism has, the Giyur, is because it's state citizenship. Converting to Judaism is a sort of is the most similar thing, really, is citizenship. Is getting citizenship, learning the history, the cultures, the customs, and like doing what Ruth did. Amechami ve'lo echrai, like your people are my people and your God is my God. So, and yeah, so you can convert to Judaism. By the way, converting to Judaism gives you an ability to make aliyah. But there is no reason that all nations would convert to Judaism. That would be like, that would be taking nationalism away. But there is, by the way, there is way more, like everybody talking about Noahide laws. Then there are 7 laws. I'll tell you something. There are a lot more laws for non-Jews than that. There are like hundreds of laws for foreigners, but not those that have to do with the peoplehood or nationhood or history of the Jewish people. You know, we have our own history. You have your own history. It's cool. It's good. But like there are laws that are universal. Like Judaism says that no matter what your nation is, you cannot eat meat from an animal that is still alive, for example. Like if you had it in a so this is like Judaism, and like it doesn't make that much sense. The whole world can be Jewish in that religious sense, but not be part of the Jewish nation, and that is a very complex kind of dynamic that Judaism has. Mm. Let me see if there are any comments, you guys, here. I lost. How you doing? Are you good? I feel like I just gave an unplanned speech. So yeah, so that's why America is, and the UK and a lot of nation states, like the French, I think they have their own. I don't know how much of it, but when it comes to Magna Carta and there was a nationhood that the Brits had created there, yeah, they followed the Bible. They just looked at what the Jews did as a nation, and they just followed it, which is great. Like every nation should do that, 100%, but not every nation should be the Jewish nation. We have our clear borders. Not everybody should celebrate Hanukkah. People should celebrate their own national holidays. Hanukkah is very national holiday. And then another thing is like, for example, our other holidays that we have, like Passover, like that is specific. Like this is God walking from Egypt to Israel. Like this is a little piece of land in the world. Come on, not everybody needs to see themselves part of it. Like every nation has its own history and their own people and the things that they went through. Let's see. This it was the look. I just okay. So I wanted to make that point clear that. So here's the thing to understand about converting to Judaism. It is a complex thing. It depends on what stream of Judaism and everything. But originally, it's a citizenship process. It was it's getting citizenship. This is what converting to Judaism is at its core originally. You guys, what are you talking about? So I wanted to bring some people that I've seen that converted to Judaism. I think I thought would be cool to share. But I kind of want to see what you guys are talking about too. And it's a bit too fast for me. So can somebody summarize? Oh, Apalachik missed the speech. Democratic boycotted if they continued in power in the US. The Jews' exodus from the US will continue. Yeah. I mean, not all American Jews are belong to the Jewish nationhood, to be honest. What? What is going on there, the Congress? Are there things happening? I don't believe in conversion. I believe in faith. Yeah, this is why I said, like, Judaism is not really a religion. I don't like the Jewish concept of religiosity, to be honest. It's not as organic as religious Jews would want to believe, I think. I believe in faith. Yeah, faith is Christianity, because Christianity is a globalist thing. It had to have that faith, I think, more than it is nationality. All right, you guys. Where is seeing? Oh, you guys talking about, did you all see the, yes, I've been talking about the Netanyahu speech. I'm trying to understand that. I think there is by the way, did you guys see that there were they showed some. Let me see. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see what people are saying on Twitter for a little bit, because no, I'm not wrapping up. I'm just. Oh, that's interesting. I want to show you guys. So there are comments. So it is like people are I'm getting really mad that Netanyahu talked like with determination about how we need to exterminate Hamas, and then said that when it comes to Hezbollah, that they rather end it with diplomatically. I was like, well, that's a horrible message. I actually missed it. I didn't notice that he said that. I was like, Lebanon should go on fire. Oh, I love Israelis. Sherry Chimovitz, may she burn. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. She doesn't say anything. Baby breathes, American congressman. La, la, la. Okay, that's it. That's all. Oh, but I wanted to show you there was this, they let here. They released like the protester released like say like that they had it in the why was it with music? Come on. I don't wanna have problems. Oh wow, the stream is getting kinda long. I wanna talk about conversion stories. Maybe I should like do it some other time. Because there are really a lot of cool stories when it comes to conversions that I've prepared, like the story of the House of Lev and Timor, but getting into it now is gonna take a long time. So I think maybe I should continue this after having such a nice speech about Judaism. What are you guys thinking? Let me know. Let me see the comments. Should I continue now? Nissan back on converting. Yeah. I actually skipped him because I don't know exactly everything about his conversion stories, but I have other people that I want to tell the conversion story of. And Rebecca, faith and anti-Zionist Jews in Israel. Can you give your take on them? Some are against the state altogether, some against it just for being secular. They're just cults. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They're cults. And, what they do and what Judaism says they're supposed to be doing is like random at best, really. They do everything that looks like Jewish, right? They wear the tzitzit, they wear the kippah, they keep kosher like crazy. But for example, do you think Judaism really forces keeping kosher if you are in the midst of a fight, existential fight? The heck, who cares? Nobody cares. No, Judaism is not like that, and yet they add that as like a condition. And they talk about, oh, what about like man and woman, like the mix-up? You know, like the Talmud, like literally says, and like there is an obligation. Woman, it says like there is an obligation for women and men to get recruited when it's a just war. Everybody has to do that. So their version, like everything they say is like they insult Judaism every time. And I like when the head of the Jewish party, the Yadut Torah, said that the Jewish thing to do is to do anything that you can do to release the hostages. I was like, okay, at this point you're just being effing ridiculous. No, it's not the Jewish thing to do. Pidyon Shuvoim. No, this is a complete lie. You cannot release murderers. You cannot. According to Judaism, you cannot do that. And according to and the Pidyon Shvoim is it talks about ransom and talks about kidnapping, not hostages necessarily. And hostages, you're actually obligated to rescue them. They're very different from what they're claiming. It's like, where do you get that from? They just do whatever is comfortable for them. But on the looks wise, I call it a costume. Like they're wearing a costume, pretending to be Jewish, which is annoying, to be honest. But not all religious Jews are like that. Not all of them are like that. But those that are like like a lot of them are cults. A lot of them are. Um, do you consider the Samaritans to be Jews? How about cut their Jews from nations who pray the something? Man, they're not here, right? Do I consider Samaritans to be Jews? Depends. Like, uh, depends, you know. It I don't think, like, I think they belong to Israel. That's the thing, you know. And to be honest, they're just too small of a group for that question to be really relevant. They do have it is like the northern part, like it did divert in some significant ways, but you know, it's not really a relevant discussion when they're such a small minority, to be honest, because it's like they should be conserved kind of situation. So making them, like mixing them with Jews, would like take away from their own traditions. So it's a hard question. Which branch of Judaism you're closest to? No, just Orthodox. Like conservatives, like they're in America. That's not an Israeli thing that much. So Orthodox, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't say like anything. Like I come closer to the Jewish nationality. So the Jewish national movement. What I say? Non-fundamentalist orthodox. You can say that, yes. Um, Listen, Judaism is crazy. Okay, you're gonna find everything and anything you want in Judaism if you look for it. So I think the real thing is like the reason we can have that variety and the reason we can have that is because it's a peoplehood more than anything, you know. And even inside of Judaism, the way Judaism like decides is like that mute that rov, like the way is like, okay, so what do Jews have to do is like, okay, if most Jews agree that this way is better, then most Jews are gonna agree that this is the Jewish way. And if it's gonna change later, then it's gonna change later. It's all right, you guys. I love, yeah, Zionist and Gatman. Yeah, people are stupid. Okay, you guys. I'm also making a video about comparing Judaism and Christianity and Islam, by the way, which is gonna be fun. All right. Mm-hmm. It's like I kind of want to end the stream, but you guys are like writing so much. So as I was like, should I let you guys talk to each other or? What are my summary thoughts on the speech? It was nice. It was good. It was. It was like let's clear up the line. But I wish, yeah, like I didn't notice that he talked about Hezbollah. I think I should rewatch it, like listen to every sentence like more carefully, and then I would be able to answer that more appropriately. Yeah, hold on, Rebecca, we're arguing. Okay, you guys can argue. I'll continue doing stuff. You see? Wait. Why is it not changing? I should. I really, guys. I do want to talk to you. I'm trying. I don't know why. Like one day I should like sit myself down and figure out how to do it and stop doing this. How do I have like a converse, like a real like converse with you? Oh yeah, guys, those who want to support me, I have a buy me coffee link below. If you guys want to support it really helps. It's a lot of work to be on YouTube. Let me tell you that, and a lot of my things get demonetized because and unfortunately a lot of things that when I talk about Judaism, I don't know why it gets so much of it gets demonetized. Like if I just mention the word Jews, that's it. Like no matter how much I apply, they're like, no, it's demonetized because they don't want to our Jewish values to be spoken of, I guess. Yeah, like, subscribe, share my videos in general. But at the demons video, for example, like I knew it's not gonna get monetized, but I worked so hard on it. So if you guys want to support me, we have a buy me coffee link below. Plus, yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work. And yeah, feel free to share this video, my videos. Jax, thank you. It's you being you that we all come to see. I'm happy. Like, but I'm making these videos because like I have my agenda, you know. I see this game, like I see it as a game of reversing. Right? You have the people who believe in morality and the people who believe in power. The people who believe that those, if you can, then you should. And those who believe that even if you can, you shouldn't, right? Like you shouldn't. And it's a game of reversing. And for 20 years now or longer, like since let's be honest, more like way like 60 years, since the 60s, it's like one side was playing, like flipping, and the other side wasn't playing. This is what happens, like, and now it's like taking over, like we're waking up and everything is, the whole board is gonna be drawn in colors of those who believe in revolutions and communism and Islamism and other structures that are power-based structures, all kind of pyramid schemes, all those people who believe that delusion that is sold to them that they are gonna be those who are in control because they are gonna convert others to their pyramid scheme and they're gonna make money off of them. So yeah. And that is thank you, Sheena, for sharing me. Yeah, make a Discord. So I still want to like I want. Okay, so this is another thing I'm pushing is like what pyramid schemes. Lol. Watch my demons video, which is demonetized, but I worked really hard for, and I think I want as many people as possible to watch. Which I know YouTube is gonna suppress, not gonna share my videos. Like it's gonna suppress it. So if you guys want to share it, feel free. Please do. Jax, it's your heart of truth. From your side, it speaks volume to all who are interested. Thank you. I'm kind of lost about the context, but thank you for your support, Jax, always. So anyway, I'm saying that I'm here with agenda, and my agenda is to, you know, play the reversey game that I fell asleep. I wasn't like, wasn't participating and then woke up and was like, oh shit, they're winning because I'm not playing. So that's my thing. It's like, I'm not even searching. I'm not trying to necessarily converse with the other side, like, because that requires me to pretend there is anything there that is like, we can start talking to. Like there is some, I don't believe I don't believe in pretending there is commonality. I just think that there are people who just weren't, that can change their minds, but they need like a slap. But my goal is to have people who have similar values, who understand or have a hunch or like this feeling that something is wrong with this communism, pyramid schemes, and Islam and everything like that, something like that, like tools to fight back and be people that in their own private lives, because after all, those people, they managed to grab that much because they didn't do it just, they went out there. They established themselves in universities. They made sure that every family would be silenced, right? That there would be just one type of argument you can voice in a family dinner. They managed to do that, but they did it one by one, just like gathering, like, and making sure all these people like pass that on. So this is my thing, like this is what I'm here for. I'm not like the video on demons. You think that people that don't have like any hunch or like they don't understand what's wrong with Islam, do you think they're gonna understand this video? Those who don't even know who Yasser Arafat is, for example, do I think they are gonna understand it? No. But I my hope is to find those who do understand but don't have the tools or the understanding or the motivation to understand that they have to speak up, they have to talk, they have to fight back. So that's my speech. All right. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Nope, I have no idea how to navigate myself here after that heartfelt speech of mine. But here's the thing, is like, I really appreciate your support. Like, I need it. But there is nothing in your like your family on Friday dinner or whatever dinners you have, or you have to talk, to state your opinion and to have the tools to state it. That's it. And that's how they got so big. They got so big because those who thought otherwise didn't say anything. That's why. All right. So yeah, I still want to compare about Telegram and Discord options. Like, what can I do there? What can I do here? But yeah, anyway, I have to work on it. I'm just being lazy. There's so much work when it comes to YouTube, you guys. You have no idea. Okie dokie. Okay, you know what I want to do? I'm gonna finish editing the video about the Nukhba victim, and I'm gonna upload it for you in today. It's not gonna get monetized, I know that, but I want it out already. I want it out fast. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. I was thinking that having the title that I had about conversion to Judaism, I would only have like a few of my best friends here. So, yeah. So it's nice. It depends on the comments. It's like I feel like I can speak more freely or less freely. All right. Good night, everybody.